Hello, I'm Just Ask Bob. Welcome to the Just Ask Bob show on Cable 14. This is the show where you send us your feedback, you send us your questions and comments, and we'll try to teach you how to improve your home right here on the show. Today we've got an email from Tanya, Hamilton, Ontario. Dear Bob, I've had a contractor remodel my entire basement. Now, as you know, basements sometimes there's not a lot of headroom, and in this case he's installed 4 doors between the bedrooms and the kitchenette. He's had to cut the bottoms off the doors, but the doors are now splitting at the bottom. I've complained to the contractor, and he's explained that there's no way around it. The door had to be cut, it had to be cut. Dear Bob, can you help? Yes, I can help. Looks like what your contractor did is he cut some of the work out. In this particular case, when you cut the bottom of a door, the block must be reinstalled in the bottom and glued. And we're going to do that for you today on today's show. Let me show you what you're going to need. Very sharp wood chisel, pencil to do your markings, tape measure. You're going to need some carpenter's glue. You're also going to need some clamps. Very important for the clamps. And 4-foot level, and we're going to need a circular saw. Now let's start by showing you a door. We have a sample door here. Now in your home, this particular one, it's 2-panel. You can either have 2-panel or 6-panel. These doors, when you're shopping and looking for them, these doors, if it's just a slab door, so if you're going door to door, simply replacing the existing, you can buy the slab door. This is going to range anywhere from $50 to $60. Now, if it's new construction and you're building the room from scratch, you'll want the door pre-hung. In that case, it comes with the header and the side jambs already fastened. That's going to cost you anywhere from $80 to $100. Now, at first look, the door looks good. But again, looks can be deceiving. These doors are made very cheap. Let me flip the door over. Okay, now let me show you. We've got an old door here. We can show you really what these doors are made out of. That wasn't hard. Now, they certainly don't make them like they used to. These doors are MDF front and back, and we've actually got paper in here. We've got cardboard. Now, they're good enough around the perimeter. Looks like they do give you some type of a solid 1x1 board around the perimeter. Where the locks board, they give you a wafer board. Throughout the middle for support and strength. Once again, they're giving you cardboard. But again, the problem with the door, as the emailer mentioned, is very common. When these doors are cut, they've got the solid bottom here. So when contractors or homeowners cut the door off to be able to open and close, especially if you're changing the flooring, when you cut off the bottom, people forget the bottom, the strength at the bottom. They forget to reinstall the piece. Now, you can't do that. You have to cut it, you have to reinsert the piece, and it's critical that you glue it. Now, other than that, as long as these doors are done properly when they're cut, very important when you primer and paint them, every edge, the side edge, the top, the bottom, you don't want moisture getting in. Moisture's going to get in, it's going to delaminate and pull it apart. Now, we're going to go for a quick break. After the break, we're going to have a door on the sawhorses. We're going to cut it, and we're going to reinsert the bottom.
For a breakfast recipe that provides a good source of protein, I have one, egg burritos. I really like this recipe because you can use ingredients that you have on hand.
For 2 burritos, I've mixed together 1 cup of liquid eggs and a 1/4 cup of chopped red, yellow, and green peppers and diced onions. Cook until the egg mixture begins to set. Then add a 1/4 cup of cheddar cheese, leftover chicken, and flavor with a dash of pepper. Continue stirring until the mixture is completely set. Then divide the eggs between the 2 tortillas. These burritos provide an excellent source of high-quality protein, and protein will help keep you going.
If you'd like a copy of this recipe, please visit our website at bodybreak.com. Until next time, keep fit and have fun.
Body Break!
Welcome back to the show. Today we've been talking about inside doors, whether they're 2-panel, 6-panel, essentially hollow doors, which have had the bottoms trimmed up. Now again, depends what's going on in your home. Is the flooring changed? Have you added tile over tile? Or sometimes, due to the low headroom in basements, it's going to happen. You're going to have to cut the bottom of the door, but you want to do it right. So that's what we're going to teach you here today. Now, let's grab our 4-foot level. Now, 2-foot level won't work, and there's no such thing as a 3-foot level, so we've got to have the right length. Now, we're going to make some marks. In this case, I'm simply going to mark from the bottom, but in your case, obviously, measure top to the bottom, put your marks equally on both sides. It's the same principle. So we're just going to go nice and even at 2 inches. Now, you see with the measuring tape, when I'm marking this side for 2 inches, that's not right. You're too far out. So you want to hook the tape right to the edge, and then you want to mark it here. It's important that you're accurate. Make a little half circle around each side. Then you want to use a straight edge. You want to get it on nice and tight. That's important. You want a nice straight line. Okay, safety glasses. And for those of you that are sensitive, gloves. I'm not very sensitive. You've got your circular saw. Okay. Now you'll notice on a circular saw there's a 0 with the line. So you want to run all the way down. You want to make sure this line here, let me clean it off. This line is always running even with your pencil line. That's important. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Now, exactly what we were talking about before the break. You want to peel these sides off. It's not very difficult. Now, if we can show you here, well actually I can pull it up easily. Over here, the door's weak now. There's nothing in there. Now the lady that had emailed me, that's how the contractor left the door. So here's the problem now. Let me just show you on a corner here. When you're swinging the door and you're using it all the time, this is what happens. That's how the door gets damaged, because there's no support. You've only got the support at the corner. So you've got a weakness now throughout. Now what you have to do is, you have to clean this up carefully. Now that your door's been cut to the height that you desire, you're going to reinsert this block of wood, and you're going to put glue on both sides. However, if you can see now, this was originally the bottom, this was the top. They're clean. These were the sides that were glued. This all has to be removed. Let's go to the vise and we'll show you. Now, if you don't have a vise at home, it's not critical. I mean, I'm here in the shop so I can use the vise, but if you're doing it at home, maybe have a helper, have somebody steady it up for you. Very important that you have a very sharp a sharp chisel. Okay. You want to take off a little bit of the thickness, basically the glue residue. This was originally the skin of the sides of the door. Careful not to take off too much. Try to push on an angle. That's a good woodworking tip. Try to push on an angle. And you're going to flip it around. Same thing on the rest of it. Make sure your chisel's sharp. Okay. Flip it over, same on the other side. See, this is the strength. This is the bottom piece of the door. Without this, every time you open and close it, the stress is going to split the sides of the door. Back in the day when doors were solid, you wouldn't have this problem. You can cut the door at any point. You're going to have solid wood. Now, like I said, these doors are worth anywhere from $60 to $100, depending if they include the jambs to be pre-hung. Years ago, the solid doors, they're still available, usually special order. A solid door is going to cost you anywhere from $400 to $500, but it's worth its weight in gold. That's a door that'll survive a century plus. Now we're going to bring it back over to the door. You want to make sure it's nice and clean. And after the break, we're going to be installing this, we're going to be gluing it and clamping it.
Wesley and Cody are members of the War Amps Champ program. Wesley lost his hand in a machinery accident when he was 3 years old. One day, while Cody was playing, he fell into the path of a riding lawnmower and lost his leg below the knee.
So you said that this is being...
As they grow up, the War Amps will be there, providing support every step of the way. Today, Wesley and Cody are safety ambassadors. Wesley gives play-safe presentations at schools.
I'm here to teach you about playing safe.
Cody rides on board the War Amps Play Safe float. Wesley and Cody have a message for all kids.
Spot the danger before you play. Play safe.
Play safe. Hello, welcome back to the show. Today we've been cutting the bottom of the door. And again, it's very important. You cut it right and you put the piece back in the bottom. Here's the piece that we just cut a short while ago. We cut the bottom off the door. And again, big problem, whether it's a homeowner or contractor, they feel, hey, we're done. Hang the door back up. Wrong. Absolutely no strength. And I've been seeing this for years. Doesn't take much to split the door, because this is actually what these doors are made out of. Not much to it. Okay, first thing is, let's make sure we're nice and clean here, because we are going to be clamping it down. You want to pull any debris out of the inside. That way you can get a good bond with the glue. Okay, clean off our piece. Now we're going to get ourselves some carpenter's glue. Let's do a trial fit. Remember, these are the edges that we shave down with the chisel. If we didn't shave them down, the other problem is if you don't shave them down, you try to force it in, you're going to split the door. So I'm going to do a trial run. That's all you need. Okay, now we'll pull it out. You want to be generous with the glue. You want to coat the sides as well. What's nice about the carpenter's glue is it dries clear and it's sandable, so you're not going to have any problems at all. It takes paint well. That's all you need. One nice bead across the middle, it's going to spread itself out. Pry the door up a little, make your life easier. Okay, now we talked about the clamps before. You want to squeeze until it oozes out. I'm going to clamp this in a couple of spots. You want to stay a little bit in, because you don't want the glue drying on your clamp. There's a variety of clamps on the market. I like to use 4. And we're going to wipe off our excess. Now what you're going to do, 24 hours, pop off the clamps, get yourself a sanding block, sand down the edges. These are the edges after the door was cut. But here's the important part. Again, remember, we're dealing with a cheap door. We're not dealing with a solid door, so it's very important. Primer the door, primer the bottom, primer the sides, primer the top, 2 coats of paint, because you're sealing it. Because remember, there's cardboard in here. You don't want the moisture affecting the door. That's our project. Soon enough, after you've watched this on television, this and all our projects will always be on our website, justaskbob.com. That's www.justaskbob.com, or if you need some advice, visit us at the website, fill out our quick submit form, and we're there for you. Now, let's catch up on another few emails. Tom in Kitchener. Dear Bob, can you please explain to me what the best shim to use under my toilet? I've been told not to use a wood shim because the floor is a little uneven and we've got some rocking in the toilet. Excellent question. Got some shims to demonstrate for you here. This is a composite shim. No wood product at all. Water will not affect this. Mold will not grow on this. Sorry for my other prop. I used to made a doorstop out of this one. But these are the typical shims you'll find everywhere. They're just made out of wood. Now you don't want to use this shim under a toilet. It's going to rot. It's going to mold. It'll just disintegrate. The composite shims, absolutely perfect. Now in an ideal world, all floors would be level. I've seen bathrooms where you can drop a marble and it'll take off to the other side. So in that case, if you have to use the shim, be very careful. Put in the shim carefully. Give it a few scores and then snap it. Push it in a little bit. If I can also give you another tip as far as the toilet goes, you have to remember there's proper procedures for caulking. There's a time to caulk the bottom of the toilet, and there's a time not to. People ask me this all the time. They drive me crazy with it. Now, essentially, if the toilet's in the basement, yes, you can caulk the base of the toilet, because if there's going to be a slight leak through the wax or through the gasket, it's not a big deal. The earth will drink it up. It'll just flow into the concrete. Now, think of this. If your toilet's on the main floor or the second floor, you have finished rooms underneath it. Do not caulk the base of the toilet to the tile or vinyl or whatever the floor happens to be, because here's the reason. If the seal between the toilet and the plumbing fails and there's going to be some water leaking there, you want to visibly see it rolling onto your finished floor. Then you know. Turn off the water, pop up the toilet, address it. If you've 100% sealed the base of that toilet to the floor, you won't see the leak. Well, you will at some point on your ceiling from the floor above. So be very careful that way. There's a time to caulk and there's a time to not apply caulking. Now we've got one more question here. Anthony in Grimsby. Dear Bob, can you please briefly explain to me what exactly is a P-trap? Excellent question. I've been asked that many times. This is a P-trap. Now this is an oversized one. This is a jumbo. This is a 2-inch. Now what you have to understand is they come in 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, and 2-inch. Okay, think of this now. Your plumbing system from the fixture inside the home carries its way to the city storm sewer. Now in that case, the gases, the smell, the stench, that's going to flow right back up to each fixture in your home unless you have a P-trap. Mind you, the only exception to the rule is the toilet. Anytime you lift the toilet seat, that's standing water, that is your trap. Now the P-traps, they fit together, snug fit. You have to use cleaner, and then you have to use the appropriate glue for ABS. Now again, picture this. Here's your fixture. Doesn't matter what it is. Kitchen faucet, bathroom faucet. Water flows downhill, goes through the P-trap, continues to the city. Now the last little bit of water flowing through stays right here. Smell and odor cannot backflow and backtrack through the water. Another neat feature is, and please always spend the extra $1 to buy them with the clean out. Many times you hear of people dropping their engagement ring or wedding band down the sink. You can open up the clean out and you can get it what you need inside. Thank you for enjoying the show. This show, don't forget Hamilton, this is interactive. I want your emails, I want your submissions, justaskbob.com. The website's been built and designed for you. Quick submit us, send us some information. Now we have a contest running and we need many, many more submissions. I want details. Never mind just the run-of-the-mill, what the renovation is. I want to know why it's not being done. Is it the husband out golfing every Sunday? remote control, won't get up from the couch, doesn't matter. Send me your submissions and you may win me, Just Ask Bob, in your home to help start tackling and chipping away at your to-do list. So don't forget, justaskbob.com, and also visit our Facebook page, get the submission started there and finish it off at our website. Thank you so much. Look forward to the next show.